This is the brand new Nocpix Ace S60r. So really quickly, I did a full review of the little brother to this, the 640 version. The features are similar or close to the same other than a few specs, what I'm going to tell you about in a minute. But we have a full video of that on our YouTube channel, so you can go check that out. So first off, this is a 60mm objective. It's a much bigger objective lens. It is a 1280 sensor, so you have twice as many pixels, or twice as big of a sensor, not twice as many pixels, but twice as big of a sensor as the 640 version. It's a 2-power base magnification, but remember, if you remember or already know anything about this model, it actually has an optical zoom on it. So this eyepiece zooms into 3-power, which means you're not zooming in on pixels, it's actually optical. It's kind of something you have to see to believe, but it is actually awesome. Let's talk about the other things here really quickly. It has a phenomenal sensitivity. I believe it's like net 18. It's a 12 micron. The base magnification is 2-power on this, and so as you know, if you digitally zoom in to 4-power, it's going to give you a 640 resolution. The battery life on this is about 6 hours. It has an internal battery, and you charge that through this USB-C port, and then there's no cap to lose. You just simply twist this and it seals it. It also uses an 18650 battery in here. It's housed in here crossways, so you don't have issues with recoil, but it's hot swappable, which means that if your battery's running low, you don't even have to turn the thermal off. You pop the battery out, you grab a new 18650, which they're cheap, you throw it in there, and it just continues to go. So some really, really cool features. I love the menu system on this. The rangefinder is controlled right here. In fact, speaking of rangefinder, this is one of the best features. The rangefinder is built into the end of the objective, so no longer do you have a rangefinder hanging off that you could bump out of alignment or damage. It's right there, it's smooth, it looks actually like a very traditional scope. It's 30mm. You're going to need to get a scope mount for it, but it gives you a lot of options for how you mount it. Menu system works great. It does all the things you expect, like video, pictures, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, the new Nocpix Ace S60r, I can't wait to actually get one and test it, but that's the story. So hopefully that interests you as much as it does me. All right, this is the brand new Armasite operator. It's a dedicated clip-on, and that is literally what it is designed to do specifically. So that is its one job. It comes collimated from the factory. So what that means is it means that you can pull this out of the box, mount it in front of your day scope, and you don't even need to go to the range and check zero. Now, if you're really feel like you need to do that, there is a way to turn on a digital reticle in here and align it with your day optics reticle just to verify, but it should come out of the box ready, and you should be able to switch it from gun to gun to gun. So let's say you own 5 ARs, one in 5.56, one in 300 blackout, one in 350 legend, or whatever. You can literally take this and just swap it from one gun to the next, never have to go re-zero. That is what it means to be factory collimated. So this is a 640, it's a 35mm objective. You focus it out here, it's nice and short. It comes with this American Defense manufacturing mount, which is a super solid mount. Uses 2 CR123 batteries, about 8 to 10 hours of battery life. Oh, it's about 5. Sorry, these are shorter batteries. It's about 5 hours of battery life, but look, those are the most common battery for these types of things, and you can just swap them in and out. It has USB-C here on the side in a sealed waterproof cap, and you can actually run an external battery pack from this, and it will use that battery pack before it uses your batteries on here. You've got a pick rail on the side here where you could mount something. In fact, technically you could mount a red dot at 45 degrees if you want, or at 90 degrees if you wanted to. It's got very simple controls. I was only able to test it here at SHOT Show with this 1 to 4 power scope on it, but it looks pretty impressive. The sensitivity of the sensor is about less than 30 millikelvin, the net D. It's a 12 micron 640, if I didn't already say that, but pretty interesting option coming in from Armasite. They also have a actual dedicated weapon sight as well, and they call this one the Commander. It is a short to medium range sight. It's a lower magnification, same exact specs, same exact features as what I just told you, except it has better eye relief. Oh, and both of these are rated for up to 50 BMG, so that's kind of a big deal too. These are very well built. They're assembled in the United States, designed here, engineered here. But this is like a 1.5 power magnification as the base mag, so it's not, you're not going to be like shooting stuff at 2,000 yards or anything, but it's made for much closer options. Also comes with the Armasite mount that is super quick to get on and off, that I really like. So anyway, you can go to Armasite's website for more information. We actually are going to be doing some testing on the clip-on, so watch Guns America's our site as well as our YouTube channel for more on that. All right, this is a brand new thermal optic here at SHOT Show, and it is a Winchester branded optic. So obviously an American brand that makes me think of like old Western things, right? But obviously very American. So they are jumping into the thermal market. This model is called the THSX, and they have a number of models available. This one happens to be a 640. It's about a 2.5 base power magnification, and I believe this is a 50 millimeter objective on this. So you're actually going to be able to shoot this pretty far. So far, I'm pretty impressed with what I see. It's really hard to tell at SHOT Show, you know, like to see very far, but I was able to look about 100 yards, and I actually really like what I'm seeing. You got an adjustable diopter here on the eyepiece. It takes 18650 batteries, and they're claiming about 10 hours of battery life. The awesome thing about 18650s is they're not proprietary. You can buy lots of them, have them charged, put them in your pocket, and as the night or day goes on, you just swap them out. No big deal for getting things charged. It's got a D-pad here on top and a separate power button, which is really nice. It's also got a piece of pick rail over here on the side, so it is possible to mount other things. So one of the things that I've found that I really like doing when I coyote hunt or hog hunt is mounting a visible laser on the side of something, so that after you shoot, you can unload the gun, you can actually turn on the visible laser, and then you can follow the laser out to where it was at, so you can actually find whatever the freak it was that you shot. So that's actually really cool that it has that on the side. Comes with a mount, as you can see here, with thumb wheels, so that's something you don't have to go buy. A lot of the trend for thermal is now you have to go buy your own scope mount, which adds like 200 bucks to the cost. Speaking of price, you guys are going to be really happy about this. I'm not going to say exactly on YouTube, but go check out Winchester Optics, Supreme Optics, sorry, Winchester Supreme Optics.
It's WinchesterOptics.com.
It's WinchesterOptics.com, and they have the prices on there, so go check that out. But this has all the stuff you've come to expect from a thermal. Has sound, as in like a microphone, Wi-Fi, has the cap cover. Here's your focus, which I actually love that. So yeah, go check it out. There's others. There's a 384 version. There's more traditional looking scope version. They're really kind of jumping into this market right now. This is a brand new product from Holosun. It is a weapon mounted aiming module. So this is the Iris GR1. It's the very base model, and it has your option of an IR laser, a green laser, or a red laser. You only get one of those. You have to choose. Uses a 1 AA battery, and it's very small, very compact. One laser, your choice. Okay, so that's the first option from Holosun. The second one is this one right here, and this is the Iris GR2. And in this one, you get 2 lasers. So in this case, you get a slaved IR laser, and it's slaved to a visible either green or red laser. So 2 Iris GR2, same thing, except this one uses a CR123A battery, a little more power there. Sits pretty low, pretty compact unit. So if you just need the lasers, there you go. The advantage of the slaved lasers is that you can visibly align your visible laser with your red dot or your optic, and then your IR laser is going to hit at the same point of impact. So this is the Holosun GR3, and as you can imagine, based on the naming convention, we've got 3 outputs in here. So same thing, we've got a IR laser slaved to either a green or red laser, and then we actually have a V-cell illuminator, which is brand new technology. It's actually incredibly powerful, and it's an IR illuminator that will help you light up an area without being seen. It has a slider here on top of it that allows you to actually focus the beam or the amount of output, so you don't have it bloom or blow out what you're seeing through your night vision. Now, I do have to mention, you guys probably already know this, but you have to have some way of like a night vision scope or nods in order to see these IR lasers and illuminators. But pretty cool stuff. Once again, a CR123A battery. This is the Iris 3, so 3 outputs. The last one is the Iris GR4, and based on the naming convention, this one has 4 outputs. So all of the same 3 as the last one, with the slaved IR laser and visible laser. And then we've got the V-cell illumination, and we also have a white light. The white light, which I'm going to turn on right now, is 1,000 lumens and 25,000 candela. We have the slider here for the V-cell IR illuminator. I believe all of these come with the pressure pads and the ability to plug in. This one's got a switch on the back that allows you to sort of choose combinations of what's going to activate when you use the pad here. But pretty interesting stuff coming from Holosun. In civilian, commercial, legal weapon aiming systems for night vision. Pretty cool stuff. They sit low, they're smaller, they're compact, and they're starting to ship now. In my hands right here, in what sort of looks like a PVS 14, is the brand new ATN, depending on how we want to talk about this, TTM 18, or the civilian version is going to be called the Odin. So this is a thermal, and it is designed to fulfill a multitude of functions or roles, in that it can be weapons mounted, it can be a clip-on, so you can put it in front of your day scope and shoot through it. It can work as a standalone scope, you can use it as a handheld scanner, or you can clip it to a helmet and use it in that fashion. So there's going to be a couple versions. There's a 384 and a 640. It's got a 35 millimeter germanium lens in it. It has a laser rangefinder built into it. Now the military version, or what they're marketing in the military, also has IR in it, which is part of the reason that it won't be available to civilians. But the civilian version should be shipping in about 6 months, is what they're telling us here. Uses an 650 battery, and they get about 10 hours of battery life out of it. It does have a focus, it does have a diopter, it's got multiple color palettes. It's pretty light, fairly small. Obviously this is kind of a prototype, but this is the military prototype version. But the fact that it has a laser rangefinder is pretty cool. They're telling me that along with that laser rangefinder, that it has ballistics in it as well. So a lot of features. ATN's known for having a lot of stuff, and this is, I like everything right down to the color of this. So pretty interesting. Can't wait to get one of these in 6 months and sort of see how it performs. I'm at the Pulsar booth right now. This is the brand new Thermion 2 XL60 LRF. So LRF means it has a laser rangefinder, and it is actually attached to this thing. Before we get into that too far though, let me tell you what this thing is. It's a 60 millimeter objective, so you can see that's huge. And it's a 1024 sensor, so no more than 640 stuff, 1024. It's a 2.5 power base magnification. The awesome thing about having this many pixels, the 1024, is you can zoom in, and the actual zoom is usable. You can zoom in a long ways and still use it. It's got a new eyepiece, so not only is this a new sensor, but the eyepiece itself is new, and it's a much better eye relief, much better field of view inside. It's rounded. It actually looks great. It's a 2560 by 2560 AMOLED display in there, and it looks fantastic. One of the very best things about these Pulsars is they just crush the competition on startup time. So from the time you push the power button until you're ready to shoot is only a few seconds, versus many of the other thermal optics out there are 30 or 40 seconds before you actually can even see anything inside of them. So that's a really, really big deal. They have great battery life. It comes with this mount. Has over a 3,000 yard detection range, which is also super impressive. So I can't actually wait to get one of these in and test it. I've been personally using the Pulsar stuff for a long time and have really, really enjoyed it, loved it. It's worked great for me. Like I said, it's actually what I personally use, even though I get to test pretty much everything that's out there. So this is the new one though. This is the one to watch out for. So in flashlights, Glock has actually joined the crowd of flashlights for pistols. I'm holding the Glock GTL2 right here in my hand. And the first question that you're going to ask, which is what I asked, is there a GTL1? And the answer is apparently there was. It was a law enforcement thing. So there's the answer to that question. I'm just going to quickly run you through the specs about what we know about this. It is a 600 lumen pistol light. It puts out 11,000 candela. It uses a CR123 battery. You put it in there by twisting the end off here and replacing the battery. It runs for 70 minutes. Holster compatibility is with, it's going to use like a Safari Land that used a TLR7. So if you chose one of those, it comes with different activators in the box. I'll use that word, I don't know if that's right or not, but you can switch these out. These right now are set to push, or you can have them do different things. So if you push it, it turns the light on. It's got 3 different modes. So it's got a momentary on, right, where you can hold it. It's got one where you can actually click it on and it will stay on, and then it's also got a strobe feature. It's got all the digital circuitry in it so that it dims after a certain amount of time of being on. It's pretty easy to mount up. It's really, all you need is a Glock tool, but you push this across and you put that in your rail there on your Glock, and then to get it out, you use your Glock tool to push it out. So pretty innovative in that you don't need a screwdriver or Allen wrench or anything like that. Price point's $135, so it's pretty affordable. And yeah, who would have thought that Glock would be making a light? It certainly wasn't me, but here we have it. In my hands right here is a new pistol red dot from Holosun called the DPS Thermal, and this is not only a red dot with solar on top of it, but it is also a thermal sight. So this is where the thermal objective is, and it wirelessly connects to the red dot. And so you've actually got a normal red dot that you can see through passively, but then it's also got a thermal overlay that allows you to look at well, see thermal. So it's a little bit hard to see in here, but we're going to try and show you right now. So we've got one of our people over here, and we're going to show you. So you see the red, and then the green is the thermal overlay. So the camera is not wanting to focus on that. Let me try closing this. Let's see if that's a little easier to see. And you can see the thermal right there. So anyway, last year this was just a concept. They had the idea down. Now it's actually in the catalog. They have it here on a gun. There's also a kind of a weak white light as part of this. So you're not just using up your rail space for nothing. You actually also still have a white light here on this DPS system. Anyway, pretty interesting product from Holosun. Kind of game-changing, interesting, innovative. I don't know what all the good things I can say about this are, but you know, they're kind of the leader in this sort of new technology, which is certainly the future. Let us know what you think in the comments. In my hand is the new Sig Foxtrot 4R pistol-mounted weapon light. This thing has some impressive specs. In fact, its specs are so good that I think I can say that the price point is about half what it should be compared to other lights with these specs. So this thing puts out 33,000 candela and 1350 lumens. So those are some pretty impressive specs. Now the cool thing here is the Foxtrot, the R in the Foxtrot 4R stands for rechargeable. So this uses an 18350 rechargeable battery. It comes with 2 of them when you buy this. It has a USB-C plug on it. You just plug it in when you're charging your phone. You can recharge this. Pretty impressive little light though. Works in the same holsters as Mod Light 350 style heads. You've got the dual. You can turn it on from either side. It's programmable. Some really cool features. So go check it out. You can find it on Sig's website, or any of their dealers are going to be selling it, or you can learn more at Guns America. So Nocturn Industries has a brand new mount. You're calling it the Alpha mount. So as everybody knows, when you start putting night vision on your head, whether it's on a helmet or mounted some other way to your head, weight really starts to add up. Everybody wants it lighter because it starts to put strain on your neck, and it's hard to actually, if you're doing it for hours, it can be a problem. So you guys have come out with a new mount that is kind of blowing my mind about how light it is. So will you kind of run us through how it works, what it does, just the weight, the features, just real quick?
Sure. So this is the Alpha mount. It stands for Adaptable Lightweight Powered Helmet Arm. Alpha was a catchy name, so we went with that.
It works.
this is future upgradable to a powered mount. That's where the powered portion of it comes from, and the adaptable. So this mount weighs 2.8 ounces or 80 grams, which is roughly like 48% the weight of a Wilcox G24 for reference. Everybody knows what that is. It's kind of the gold standard.
If you know anything about night vision, that is like absolutely the standard. It's what China knocks off. It's what everybody is running. The military runs it. So yeah, that's like 48%. That's half.
Yeah. A couple things we did special with this that address some of the issues with some of the mounts that are on the market are something called like death wobble, people call it. Over time, the mounts wear out and they move around. When you're running with night vision, they can bounce, and people will either bungee them or or just deal with it. And so to address that, we did a couple different things. So one of those is we still have a normal lockout where you push the button, and it snaps into place, but instead of coming loose when you push the button, there's a ball detent in there. So it has a force to overcome after you push the lockout in both the up and down position. Now the cool thing is, if you can disassemble this and remove this if you so wished, or we can configure it from the factory for like LE or military with a specific requirement. This can be forced to overcome only. So kind of like Neurotos has one like that. KDEX has one that's a lockout in one direction, but forced to overcome in the other direction. And there's a breakaway feature just like anything else. You have an NL lockout, so it locks it in place. If you have a loose shroud, we've built in these rubber bumpers that give you 3 to 4 points of contact in most shrouds. And what that results in is it gets rid of the slop almost completely. You have to compress these to get it into most shrouds, and when you do that, it's putting pressure on this and creating a really grippy surface, so this isn't going to move around at all. It's pretty rigid. And if it's too tight, these two bottom ones can be plucked out. And then we're also going to include 2 taller ones that for mounts that are really loose, or shrouds that are really loose, you can get this to be nice and stuck. It's got 15 degrees of cant angle adjustment. It has 1.65 inches of horizontal travel, so you can run this with a gas mask. And then you have your vertical travel here. And then we have these set screws in each of the carriages that are nylon tipped, so you don't destroy your finish. And you can tighten these down and clamp them down. So if you want this locked and you're never adjusting it, you can tighten it down and you get zero play.
That's really cool.
Forever, because you can tighten that down more and more if that were to wear or something like that. That's really cool.
So this is it. Can I take this off here? I guess I can. Maybe I'll just grab the whole thing. This is it mounted on a helmet, and this actually comes back way further and gets your, you can get clear back in here. It's way tighter. You're going to have less leverage of things hanging out of way, so you can, it's almost touching right here on this helmet. So this is substantially closer than like a G48 or something, right?
Yeah. And there's also, we're coming up with a direct mount as well, so you can shroud right to your helmet. So that'll be even closer to the helmet. Now, we're not the first to do that. Others do that as well. We would like to develop that. We don't have it yet, but for right now, I believe this stows as low as or very close to some of the lower stowing mounts on the market. So low profile is really important for us. Low weight's important for us. Snag hazards are an issue. Strain on the neck and fatigue is an issue. Play, slop of the mount's an issue. Durability, this whole thing's 7075 T6, and some components are 174 H900 stainless steel. We have a FNC coating on the wear components, so you got a really good case harden that is going to resist wear over time. If you were to, when you're in the breakaway and you were to hit this really hard, it's going to break off to protect your neck.
All the safety features.
Yeah, all that stuff.
All right, so go ahead.
If you were to have this locked in the non-breakaway and for some reason you hit this hard enough to break the mount, instead of it bending the mount or causing serious damage to the mount that it's unusable, it will actually shear the lockout. And then it turns into a force to overcome mount. So you can still use it and get through your mission, get back, get it repaired, whatever. But it's a significant amount of force to cause that to happen. But it's something where things happen in the field, and instead of it completely destroying your system, in those adverse conditions that would normally break any mount, your mount is still usable.
That's awesome. Okay, so guys, this looks like it's going to be the new standard, the Alpha mount from Nocturn Industries. Jeff, appreciate you running us through this. Just one last question. How soon are we going to be able to buy one of these?
These are going to be shipping next month. So they're in production now. We have components, and we've been producing these. We brought 30 of them to the show.
Cool.
You know, to give away as samples and you know, get on display. So these are in production. We did low rate initial production starting out. See if there's anything on initial production that we might want to tweak. But I think we're good. And so these are starting to ship shortly.
Awesome. Okay, guys, if you need more information, Nocturn Industries, we're definitely getting one of these in for a review at Guns America. So make sure you subscribe so you see that when it comes out. All right, so this is the brand new Zolt ACAL, and it stands for Advanced Co-located aiming laser. So this thing is absolutely amazing. So if you're using night vision, you want to use IR light so that other people can't see what you see. And so this has an illuminator on it, which we'll talk about in a second, as well as an infrared laser. So there's two lasers in this, and they are mounted super low to the bore of your rifle. So there's a green laser in here and there's an infrared laser, and when you adjust the green laser and co-align it with your reticle and your scope or your red dot, it actually also aligns and sights in your infrared laser so that it's sighted in. So we could call it slaved. This is actually probably more complicated than that, but it's actually a really cool system. They are perfectly over the bore, so there's no misalignment, there's no offset, there's no parallax, however you want to put that. So really awesome from that perspective. And then right here, we have a VCSEL illuminator, and this thing is going to blow everything out of the water that's out there. This is the latest, greatest technology, and as you actually make it turn into a flood, it actually turns the power up. So it actually outputs more power as you make it wider to illuminate more of an area. And once again, this is infrared. You can't see it with your naked eye. You have to be looking at it through night vision. This is a diffuser, and you pop this over it, and now instead of having the long range thing, you can actually use it for CQB, close range stuff. It diffuses this IR light so that it lights up more of an area, so you have more situational awareness. It's got all kinds of additional settings. This is going to be kind of the standard, but it's going to be available for civilians to purchase. The price is going to be very reasonable considering the features and the technology that's on this. If you're not familiar with Zolt, they have a great Instagram page. We're going to get one of these in to do a full review on, and we'll literally go through and explain every feature that's on it when we get there. But these are supposed to start shipping commercially in July. They're American made, American designed, really cool product from Zolt called the ACAL. So this is the Holosun Raid flashlight, weapon mounted light. This thing has some pretty impressive specs. It puts out 1,000 lumens and 80,000 candela. It also has the option of an IR head. It comes with a switch on the back as well as a crane switch and pressure pad in the box. It's set up for being able to mount on a pick rail or M-lock straight out of the box. It's waterproof, shockproof. It comes with an 18650 rechargeable battery. Yeah, pretty impressive little light from Holosun. They actually announced this last year, but it has just barely started shipping. So one of the more impressive lights for the specs. I would actually love to get it in and compare it to some known weapon lights that we know are really bright and see if the 80,000 candela holds up. You can learn more on Guns America's website or Holosun's website. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you on the next video.